baby, listen to me speaking. No matter what, just let it go.
Pop, Perswayable. What's going on, boo-boos? What's going on? Yeah, I got a dad joke for you. How do you spell panda? All you need is P and A. That's awful. You should unsubscribe. Anyways, today I would like to talk to you about why I personally feel like Pop Goes the Weasel is the #1 killer perk in the game, in Dead by Daylight Mobile. In this game, I'm going to show you some Huntress gameplay. I'm not going to lie, I'm not the best Huntress player. I'm still working on a few techniques with her, different skill sets, if you will. So this gameplay is not to highlight how to play Huntress. This gameplay is, I've had a few beers. So, some of my throws hit, some of them don't, right? It's going to happen. And really, I want to show you why Pop Goes the Weasel ends up kind of saving me a little bit. The survivors do, unfortunately, make some choices that affect that outcome as well. We'll talk about that with the gameplay a little bit. However, I don't really want to focus on that because I know that it's way too easy for us to kind of sit back and be judgmental. Yeah, those people drive me nuts. You know what I mean? It's like the people that give you relationship advice when you're not even looking for relationship advice. You just want to talk to somebody about your relationship. And instead of them listening to you about your relationship because, you know, you're looking to them to listen to you, instead they stop listening, they interrupt you, and all they do is try to give you this wannabe pseudo guru advice when in reality their relationships suck. And instead of them focusing on themselves, they're going to focus on you instead. Wow, that was a fucking rant. Anyways, my point is, don't be too judgmental. There's so many things that we could look at this and say, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? But in reality, we both know, we all know that we all do shit and we look back at it and we're like, damn, I probably shouldn't have done that. And if you need an example, just think of the last person that you dated. All right. So with that being said, I try to play super aggressive. I obviously joke around and say that I camp a lot, etc. But this is my normal sort of gameplay here. This is me trying to really get better at the game, work with certain hatchet moves, work with certain moves in regards to how to use Huntress. So I put them on the hook and then I keep moving. During this gameplay, I'm actually currently making a video of some pretty good throws from Huntress. So you're going to see me like really trying to make some ridiculous throws that I normally wouldn't make. It was actually me trying to make some footage, sort of like a montage footage of me hitting some crazy axes or hatchets or whatever. And so you're going to see me try to attempt to throw some crazy ones. But let's talk about Pop Goes the Weasel. Now, for those who don't know, Pop Goes the Weasel is level 40 teachable perk from the clown. All right. And essentially, I'll try to put a picture into this video right now. But what Pop Goes the Weasel essentially does is every time you hook somebody, depending on how much you level it, you can go to the nearest generator or a generator, any generator, and then you can hit it. And when you do so, okay, you reduce its progress by 25%. All right, so it's a very important. If you're somebody that really likes to move around in the map, this is a really good perk because it can continuously punish characters for going on the generator, all right? And that's what you see me do. And you're going to see me prioritize it a little bit in terms of which generators I decide to activate the skill on. Now remember, this activates when I hook somebody. Every time I hook somebody, I either have 40, 50, or 60 seconds, and the next generator that I hit, I can reduce it a lot. So, as an example, if there's a generator that you know is really close to being popped, you can use this skill on and go towards and really reduce it by 25%. That's after you hook somebody. All right, so that's an important feature because you really have to know how to use this skill. You have to know how to use this perk, so to speak, to really use it to its advantage. And currently on Dead by Daylight Mobile, you can see that I have two of my main weapons. It's really weird. It's just a kind of a weird glitch here. One of the things that I've been experimenting with Huntress is not only trying to go for the throws. Sometimes it really damages me a lot. Unlike PC, where you have different buttons that do different things. With the hatchet, you have to hit it with your thumb, and then you're waiting for it to load, and then you got to hit it with your thumb again. It's a very different approach. So anyways, I'm trying to do them a service. I didn't really do a good job at managing this map, all right? When you use Pop Goes the Weasel, one of the strategies that you can use with this is actually making sure that you stay around 3 generators that are in close proximity. It's a really big pain in the ass for the survivors. I don't really do that this match. I really don't. They're down to 2 generators now, okay? And I know I'm kind of in trouble because I'm kind of spread out here. I have 2 generators that are very close, the one in the shack, and then I have 2 that are very spread out. So this really isn't good for me. This isn't good for me. If you want to play super try hard, especially if you're getting your ass kicked in the beginning of the match, sometimes I'll just lay off the survivors and I'll make sure that I'm in proximity of the 3 closest generators. And with Pop Goes the Weasel, you can really harass them with that. Okay, that is one strategy. My problem with the whole Dead by Daylight community, etc., is they act like only one strategy works. That's not how you play Killer. The way to play Killer is that you have to adapt. You have to adapt to different circumstances, especially if you get your ass kicked in the beginning. There's some really, really good killers out there, but if they don't do really good early or mid-game, late game, you can pounce on them, right? Whereas there's some other killers who they're pretty good throughout the entire game, but they're going to win more because they're more adaptable. They can adapt better with their perk layout, whether it's early game, mid-game, or late game. Now, what I like about Pop Goes the Weasel is that it's a thing that you can use throughout the entire game session. It benefits you in all assets of the game. It really shines in late game, which is really good. Pop Goes the Weasel has saved me so many times. And so this is me kind of moving around, and we'll talk a little bit more about the gameplay. This is a very, very long game. I could chop the game up, but I just don't want you guys to see only the good gameplay, and I don't want you to only see when I'm doing things right. I want you to see when I'm doing things wrong, and how Pop Goes the Weasel is really going to help me with that. All right. And one of the things is that one of the disservices with me having to kind of come over this audio is you're not really going to hear the sounds of these generators, but hopefully you can see through the movement. And I don't have any media sound within the game. All right. So let's talk about the game and what we're doing here. I'm really trying to slow the game down. They're down to 2 generators still. I'm moving around. And once we get to that 1 generator, that's when we're going to see this shine a little bit. Now remember, I want to reemphasize this. I'm going to repeat myself a few times. And that's just to really emphasize my point. Sometimes we learn things with what we call repetition, right? Even from a physical sense, physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, that's what they do. Motor repetition, cognitive repetition. We do stuff over and over and over again. That's how we get it, all right? And so we're going to talk about the same thing over and over and over again, but we're also going to emphasize how this is how this applies to my current situation. So we're still at 2 gens, and what I'm really doing here, this gen here, I probably shouldn't have used this on. So now, mind you, when you regress it, when you hit it, it slowly starts to regress unless a survivor gets back on top of it. I should have used it on this. So you see how I just went back to back? I should have prioritized. Remember, Pop Goes the Weasel only works on the first generator that you use it on. All right, so remember, when you hook a survivor, the first generator that you decide to regress like that, okay, it's going to reduce it by 25%. As you level up Pop Goes the Weasel, there's 3 levels. It just means how long that perk activates for. So level 1 would be 40 seconds, level 2 would be 50 seconds, level 3 would be 60 seconds. So now I'm changing up my game style, and I'm really doing a good job at monitoring these 3 generators. All right. That's pretty much my game style right now. I'm trying to monitor these because we're down to 1 generator. Now, let's get back into one of the first things I talked about. One of the first things I talked about is that it's going to be people who are like, oh, the survivors should be playing more aggressive. You're absolutely right. Maybe that is the right thing to say. But I know that sometimes me as a survivor, I've definitely been punished by not playing aggressive enough, but I've also been punished by playing too aggressive. So now I just hooked somebody. Now look at the top right. Okay, look at the top right corner, all right? this is how I'm gonna, right now, this is the gen that I'm worried about. This gen is very close to being fully decoded. So we're gonna get some more of these. We're gonna move around. And I'm a little scared about straying off too far from the generators, right? I'm seeing if he's hiding over here. Based on the sound of the generators, I know that I have a little bit of time to move around between these two. All right, and we got this right here. Somebody has touched this again. So we're going to continuously damage these generators because the longer that they don't touch them, they'll continue to regress. And we're going to move back over here. So we've eliminated one person. We still have 3 gens that I'm worried about. Now, the way that I'm going to play this game now, I'm going to control the rhythm of this map now. And what that means is that I'm not really going to stray from these 3 gens too much. Now, I know somebody's going to go back over there. That's okay. I'm not worried about that gen that I just damaged. I'm more worried about this gen over here because it's very close to being popped, relatively. And so that's why you see me kind of leaving and moving. And I just want to explain that so you understand some of the actions. Watch this juke. Watch how much I suck. I have no idea where she went. Look at this. Look at me being all stupid. Look at this. I'm just so stupid. Where'd she go? I want to keep that in the gameplay, though. I thought that was phenomenal. I had no idea where she went. I was so confused. I do now. I know where she hid now. But during the gameplay, I'm like, man, she just owned me right there. So now, how about we not only talk about all the things that I've been doing right? How about we do try to be objective and say, what could the survivors be doing? Well, what the survivors could be doing is being super aggressive on these generators. And believe it or not, that's actually what they're doing. One of their downfalls was a lot of these generators weren't touched in the beginning. Only the one in the shack was. And me hugging the shack, that's what put these survivors at a disadvantage because the other 2 generators weren't touched. So you can see that they're trying to play more aggressive right now. And I can understand that. I was hoping he'd come back like that. Here we go. We're going to move back over here. Now, normally, I'm not going to lie. Usually I double back, or rather what I would have done is I actually would have went to the other side of the pallet. But I had a weird feeling that he wasn't going to hop that pallet right away. So, like, if you watch that gameplay and you're like, oh, that survivor should have hopped the pallet. He actually thought that I was going to double back, and that's something that I usually do. Like, he genuinely thought that I was going to think he was going to hop the pallet, and then I was going to get on the other side of the pallet. But for some reason, I just felt like I could squeeze in that lunge attack, and that's what he was doing there. So I just want to be... I want people to understand that before you're like, oh, why did he hop the pallet? Because he thought I was actually going to think that. So that worked in my favor. That was a low-tier hunter move that I just did. That was a low-tier killer move that I just did, but it worked out in my favor. I hate when I do that as a survivor, when I think too much about my tactics and then I don't do it. and that's what gets annoying about these games, these asymmetrical games, is that at the end of the day, it's not that he didn't play well, it's that he made a move. And it's like a game of chess. And some chess moves will work on certain opponents, and some chess moves will work on others. And it's really a probability game of which move you choose. Anyway, so I'm still going around. This was me thinking about just trying to see how far it could go. Don't ask me what that was. And really, I'm still just monitoring these 3. Now, the one benefit is that it's on the same side of the map. I am happy that happened. But this is why Pop Goes the Weasel is so important. You can really slow this game down. And you can slow the game down, and it can really help you out. And I wish that I actually had footage of me. That was a beautiful juke. I wish I had footage of me actually showing you what it's like to make sure that you stay in proximity of 3 generators that are even closer than what I have. I actually tried to do that for my other video that will be coming out. Normally I wouldn't do that, and I would just catch up and stop the gap between us. But yeah, that was an awful hatchet as well. So that's what's going in my favor. Now, one of the other things that's really going in my favor as well is that when I do put somebody on a hook, it seems like more than one survivor is going for the rescue. So if this was Survivor with friends, I'd be lucky if I could get 3 kills in this match because there would be more coordination. So you could see that sometimes when I'm hooking these survivors, I'm having 2 survivors run. again, this footage is not to show you I'm the best Huntress player. This footage isn't to show you, that this was a perfect match. This footage is actually showing you how this perk is working in my favor. That's my entire point. If I had a different perk on in this current match, it would be a little bit more difficult. Now, I could have played more conservative as well. I could have held back a little bit. I could have camped a little bit more, and did that. But I didn't want to. I really just wanted to play a super, super aggressive game and do my own thing, right? So I actually felt like this was the best video to show you guys how Pop Goes the Weasel ends up really helping me. Because if I just show you a match that I do super good in where I'm killing every survivor in 10 seconds, all right, it's not really going to emphasize where Pop Goes the Weasel as a perk saves me. Because it's like, well, you're doing everything so well, you're killing everybody so fast. Well, that's not necessarily the case here. Even though there's times where I am killing people, there's times where I can't find anyone. I'm wasting my time. I'm running around the map aimlessly. I'm trying to get these throws from the Huntress that are ridiculous. And so that's why I wanted to show this. So I'm still, and by the way, I can't wait for you guys to see the end of the game. The end of the game is so frustrating. Just watch, just wait for it to happen. And so that's what Pop Goes the Weasel will do. Now, when you play this match, you can tell how far or how quick the generator is from popping. When you listen to the sound, the louder the sound, the faster the gears are moving. It gives you a good indicator at how much these generators are close to being popped. Now, you might be asking, well, what if I didn't have Pop Goes the Weasel? Well, you could still damage the generators, obviously, but when you do so, you're not going to reduce it by 25%. Now, I had a feeling this dude's camping. I just had this weird feeling. Now, I should have thrown my hatchet right there. If I threw my hatchet and followed up with a regular attack, he just dead-hearted that. That was pretty good. I'm trying to look for him. Look at this. Look how lucky this dude gets. He gets the hatch, man. Oh, that was so frustrating. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I just wanted to give you a good reason as to why I really love Pop Goes the Weasel. I'll do some more videos in regards to which killer perks I feel are the best. I mean, they're readily searchable, but I do like to experiment to see if they carry over on the Dead by Daylight mobile. Remember, certain perks such as Infectious Fright doesn't work currently. So we'll see how that works out. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate it. Take care. Thank you so much for the support. Much love.